Welcome to the home of Project Dream Mastery. Here at PDM, we are challenging the status quo of what it means to follow your dreams and how to unlock the power those dreams will bring to your life. The show experience will be unscripted, authentic, and transparent. So now, sit back, relax, and get inspired with your hosts, Lucas Johnson and Patryk Labuzek.
Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of the Project Dream Mastery Show, where we help inspire you to follow your dreams, defy expectations, dream big, and love deeply. My name is Lucas Johnson, and
I'm Patryk Labuzek.
Just in case you are interested in the full experience, the episode is available with video. So check out our website at projectdreammastery.com/listen to watch now. The topic for today's episode is being afraid of the comments, dislikes, and views. And I don't know about you, but this topic hits home for me. I haven't always had fears about the comments, dislikes, and views until more so recently. It comes in the form of your image and what people think of you. So a few of the areas that we're going to focus in on and explore are your work, your professional life, your friends and your best friends, your social life, your jobs, going back to professional, your overall life, from the whole, the high level perspective, your faith, and how many people will see. So when you think about the topic today, being afraid of the comments, dislikes, and views, I think the first thing you can really think of is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, hell, even LinkedIn. People can be sassy on there. So, Patty, how relevant is this to your daily life? Because I know you are huge, big time into photography and most of the time spending a lot of time on social media, just like I am. How relevant is this to you in your life? And what would you tell the listener as to how they can improve just in respect to social media?
So for me right now, anyway, at this given minute, it's not a big problem. It's not a big challenge for me just because I managed to go past that a year or two ago. But going back those 2 years or maybe a year, it was definitely a struggle. It was a struggle when I started kind of, being out there in the virtual world, I would say, in the social medias. Facebook, Instagram were the big ones. Before I posted anything, I would always ask myself 10 times, is this content or is this picture? Because I didn't have much content, honestly, nothing that would benefit anybody. But is the picture I'm putting on good? As in, do I look good? What would people think? How will they judge me by looking at this picture? What will they think of me? And so on and so forth. So that was a big challenge to kind of get over my head that be you, post what you want to post as long as it's appropriate, obviously, and kind of don't care as much as what people think. It's their opinion. Somebody else or 5 people or 10 people more will have a completely different opinion. So for this one person who is, in popular terms, a hater, we will have 10 people who are really gonna like what you're putting out there. And you don't have to put filters or, make things artificially beautiful. So that's what I've learned in the process. So right now, I don't care as much what people think. I'm not gonna say at all because I would lie to myself. We always put out some kind of image whenever we go to work. We put a professional face on. You can't act as a child. You can't do stupid things when you're in the real world out there. But when it comes to social media, and these are the big platforms, that's where we kind of get judged the most, I think. And you have to take step-by-step approach to kind of overcome this thought in the back of your head that you're being judged by whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're posting.
So there are 7 billion people plus in this world, every single one of them is entitled to their own opinion. And some countries tend to be a little bit more judgmental than others, but I also think that goes down to the people. People are judgmental. That's just how we are. We're human. We talked about comparison in the last episode. We like to compare our lives to others. Are we higher in society than them? Are they a lower class? Do they have that Louis Vuitton purse or satchel? Do they have an iPhone? All these questions and things that we try to compare ourselves to, and it makes us feel better about ourselves. Now, Patty, you said two things in there that are really stood out to me is a virtual world. And also, is this content good? As a little plug, Project Job Interview, for anyone that is going through the job search right now, we actually go into an entire module on brand reputation and using brand scanners to enhance your image. This is probably a critical element to your job search. But going back to the topic, it's also relevant. You need to make sure that your reputation is allowing you to stand out in other people's eyes, from the employer perspective to even people that are just trying to get to know you. I don't know about you, but I will say that sometimes whenever I'm getting ready to go out on a date with someone, and maybe it's a blind date, or maybe I met them on one of those applications that they have on the social media store, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, for anyone that doesn't know. For those that you're going out and meeting people, you tend to look at their profiles if they're public. And nowadays, everything is public. Every single thing you put out there is considered public information. Sometimes, and most of the time, you don't even own that. Patty, I don't know if this is correct. Maybe you can jump in here. Does Instagram and Facebook own the photos whenever you actually place them on their website, onto their servers and so forth? I don't know for sure.
Now, I'm not 100% certain about the pictures, but they definitely own the data that you put in. So whatever it may be, your date of birth, your email address, all that information, they use it, they store it, it's used for advertisements, they used to sell it to other companies. That's how they make their big money behind, the curtains that we don't hear about. So, even though it is our data, this data is public. But interestingly enough, if you were supposed to ask Facebook, listen, can I get all my personal data from you? They would say no. And that's because they own it.
And there's also, I know that the GDPR and all the relevant and applicable laws and regulations that are now in place, I know that all these social media companies and anyone that collects data has to now be in compliance by a specific time. And I'm sure that it's probably already in effect, especially in European Union. There's a lot going on. I know even for Project Dream Mastery, we have to be in compliance for showing what cookies are being used, what data we're collecting. So, we use CookieBot, and that's something, if you're in the entrepreneur route, you can check that out on our projectdreammastery.com/resources, where we actually go through all of our, services and stuff that we use. We're very transparent about everything that we use. I think it's really important for people to understand who we are and what we stand for. So just saying that from the get-go is we want to be transparent with you, and we want you to understand that some things in life, they require you to also make sacrifices. So if you want to use that social media and so forth, you're sacrificing your personal data. You're sacrificing your private information. I mean, they have so much information on you that basically your identity it's already out there. Your birthday, your address, all your pictures that they can use for God knows what. There's all kinds of things that can occur in that atmosphere. But how is this applicable to being afraid of the comments, dislikes, and views? Patty, I think, and when I see social media, I actually fear what people think of me. Not necessarily to the greatest degree as what most people actually do, but it's mostly because we have so much stuff going on in our lives, especially if you're going down the entrepreneur track, or maybe you have a full-time job too. I worry about what I post socially because it could come back to bite me in the butt later. If I say something on someone's page and, maybe I didn't phrase it properly, or maybe I said something that ultimately is, maybe I was up at 2:00 and I decided to write something and I hit tweet, or, that's the kind of stuff that really affects us. And I'm afraid of people judging every single second of me on social media. And Not to the degree as what most people would think, but again, Patty, we all have fears, right?
Yeah, 100%. And what you're talking about there is definitely applicable to each one of us. And going back to saying that our private data is actually, or our personal data is public. Your next potential employer 5 years down the line could well look up your Facebook profile, your Instagram, and see whatever it is you were doing or you were saying, what your political views are, your religious beliefs, and etc. etc. Everything's out there. Everything's in the internet and it's permanent. So from in my view, I fear not that I'm being judged by people, because like I mentioned earlier, I kind of overcome that, but I fear of have a fear of what people will think of me in the future, in 5 years, 10 years down the line, when the world that we live in will completely change. We're going to have new beliefs, new things out there. Like, for instance, I don't want to dwell into that, but 30, 40 years ago, nobody was even talking about the LGBTQ community. Whereas now it's a big topic. So, our world is evolving because we are evolving. We become more aware of certain things, and new things come up. So whatever you say now might have a completely different meaning 5 years down the road. And because this data is public and it's permanent in the internet, this could backfire in the future on any single one of us.
That made me speechless. I was really immersed in that, and that's amazing. Yeah. That's, I have been trying to display that and kind of understand how to put words to describe exactly what you said. I have been silent for the last, few months on social media. I occasionally will post a story on my Instagram, which is linked to my Facebook, but I haven't posted a photo, haven't posted an actual post, tweeted, anything like that. Because it's not that I'm afraid of what people think of me now. It's what they think about me in 5 or 10 years. And this is a prime example. Patty, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but when I started coaching 10, when I was 16, 17, 18, that range, I started a YouTube channel, and it somehow made its way around the school, and everyone was making jokes and laughing about me having this YouTube page and this kind of movement and company that was catered around helping people, bully prevention, teen development, and so forth. It went around the school, and my coach, I'm not going to say any names, we're talking in his office, and goes, "What is this? Like, what are you going to do?" Like, what? It wasn't anything negative. It was just questions about, what is this? How is it going to improve your life? How is it going to, what are the drawbacks? That kind of stuff. And at the time, I think anyone our age, at that age, would be a little pissed off. I was actually so pissed off that I I still haven't had a chat with them. But over the years, I've had a chance to really reflect on what was said and how it was said, and what wasn't, was good intentions or bad. The truth is, it was good intentions. And even if it was bad intentions, why take that 20 seconds or 5 years to really think about it and reminisce over what was said? Think about how it's changed you. Since that was said, I've went about my social media presence a lot differently. It made me realize people were actually watching. People were actually listening. People were actually listening to us. Patty, can you believe that?
No, I don't.
It's amazing. People were actually listening. So that's a prime example of things are always changing, evolving, just like we talked about in the last episode, is your brain is a sponge. It's constantly evolving. So are people. And so is the environment that surrounds you. Social media, just like MySpace was a thing a couple years ago, 10 years ago, is now no longer, it's in existence, but who talks about MySpace? Or, we have TikTok now. TikTok's around now, but you remember when Vine was in existence, Patty?
Yeah.
So it's really about, they're collecting your data now. And Facebook, I'm sure they've been around for quite a while and they just keep buying company after company. So I'm sure they will be around for a very long time. But if they ever change their name or change their presence or, develop a new way of doing things, your data is still there. And, people are always going to be able to see what people said about you. So as your friend and, as someone that's trying to help you along the way, make sure that you take the second to really evaluate what you're saying and doing in your actions, because clicking that button could have a serious impact on the rest of your life. I've seen way too much in the news, and I don't watch news very often. But just remember that something you say could ultimately cause you to have your offer rescinded at a job. And we talk about that in Project Job Interview. Could have your job taken away. Could have your friends questioning if you're really a good person. And your family is probably always going to love you, but they're just going to say, what the heck did you do? But Patty, that was deep. And I really appreciate you bringing that up, because I was hesitant about talking about that. And I'm hesitant about talking about anything political or anything that talks about views, because just like you said, you never know who's listening or how they're going to take it. So it's all meant to be positive if you're listening. Everything we do in the show and everything we talk about in the show is meant to have a positive meaning and is supposed to allow you to think through what we're talking about. So take a minute and just think about what you've posted over the last 1,000 days. 1,000 days, what have you posted? Patty, what have you posted in the last 1,000 days that, I think your posts are pretty good, but is there any you can top of your head that you might question and just say, hey, why did I post that?
No, it's a straightforward answer, no, because I'm quite aware of what I represent as a person, what I represent as a as a brand, my businesses, as well as my blog. So the content that I post on any social media is focused around promoting my content, promoting what I do, rather than expressing views. And of course, I do have views. Of course, I think about abstract topics. Of course, I could talk to you about, different aspects for hours and hours, as you well know. But that is not the content that I'm sharing on any social media. My views are there for my friends to hear, or strangers. That's not a problem. But eye to eye, face to face, preferably somewhere in a bar with a nice pint of beer. So I never question, or I never will question, I think, the content that I've posted, because I know it is true to what I represent, and I try to avoid at all costs posting anything to do with political views, religious views, different ideologies, all that kind of stuff. I keep it all to myself, or like I said, I speak about it face to face with people that I meet on my way. So yeah, but what we were saying there, Lucas, about the negative things that come with social media, there's a lot of positive things that come to social media as well. And it's important to mention that, because it's not all negatives, obviously. The reason why I use social media, and I'm pretty sure you could agree with that, Lucas, as well, is, for me, it's promoting my content, it's promoting my blog, it's putting, quality content, good pictures, nice stories, and helpful information for people out there. And, we just live in times like when social media is easier to reach to than newspapers, than radio stations. And that wasn't back in the day. That changed. So, back in the day, people would post more ads in your daily newspaper, which would be, dropped off to your house every single day. You would read it in the morning or whatever. Right now, what are you doing in the morning? You're scrolling through your feed on whatever social platform that you're using. So, social media are a way for us to show what we offer. So there's a lot of positive things as well as negatives, but you just have to be aware of what you're putting out there And if I were supposed to give, one recommendation to any of our listeners, would be, be aware of what you're putting out there and think about the content that you're posting, because it is public at the end of the day.
Actions have consequences. They do. That is considered an action. You are posting that sometimes, and I think it's important to be transparent, is stuff you post online still can be considered harassment, still can be considered bullying. There's all kinds of cyber laws out there nowadays, and if you watch any sort of TV, I'm sure that you've seen something about it. So I want to pose a question to you. What do you represent? What do you represent? What kind of person are you? Are you the person that, they go on Twitter and has a firestorm and you have 20 or 30 people jumping into this conversation about something you said? Are you that kind of person? Or are you someone that's going to sit back, relax, think it out, write it down, and then come back to it at a later date when you can think rationally? I've been there. I know exactly how it feels. I've been there. Facebook became a huge thing whenever we were 11 or 12 years old. I'm pretty sure everyone started creating accounts whenever, we weren't really allowed to. So I will say that I've been there. I know I wasn't the smartest social media guru whenever I was 11, 12, 13, but I did learn throughout the years how to have a great brand representation. And brand doesn't just mean a company brand. We as human beings are our own personal brand. You could start your own movement, and there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people that are starting a brand every single day that is selling to people of any age, because people respect them. They love their shit. They love the stuff, and they're authentic. They have a great brand reputation. So if you are going through the job process, just want to let you know that there is a course that will be out here in the next few weeks, and it's called Project Job Interview, where we go very, very in detail on brand reputation and personal brand, and even how to use scanners to go through all of your content, and even keyword representation for SEO purposes, because your name is linked to all these posts. Whether you're, growing up and you're on a high school football team, your picture's probably out there on some website where people are taking photos. So just know that there's always someone watching. If you're out in public, there's always someone watching. And I'm pretty sure in the United States, if you're in a public place, the Senate ruled that it is considered public. You're allowed to be recorded. So just want you to know that, jumping into kind of our next focus here. Being afraid of the comments, dislikes, and views comes in all different kinds of areas of our lives. It's not just on social media. Patty, I think we should probably jump into work, your professional life first, just because, we're both going through that current phase of our life too, where we're trying to figure out where we want to be, where we see ourselves. And I think we're always trying to figure out what we want to do in our lives at any point. And that's what do I want to do, or what do I want to be whenever I'm an adult? What do I want to do when I get older? That's the attitude we all have, I think. And even if you're super happy, not everyone wants to do the same thing for the rest of their lives. So, Patty, being afraid of the comments, dislikes, and views professionally, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. With the current job that I have, I'm not gonna name anything that I do or anything like that, but I'm a working professional. I meet a lot of very influential people that are out there, people that make a big difference, at least in Ireland, and how you represent yourself is very, very important for going back to the brand of the company that I work for. And so, from the minute that boss from another company sees you, they look at you, they judge you, they look at every little thing. Oh, what watch is he wearing? Oh, is that shirt, does it cost $100, $200? Or is it something, bought for $5? Or, what car you're driving? What laptop are you bringing out there to that meeting? All that kind of stuff that, in the end, it's all those materialistic stuff, but sad truth is people judge us by what we have, not by what we are a lot of the times. But we can all change that. So I feel like when I go into a meeting, it's not what I wear, it's not what I drive, it's not what I bring with me, but it's what I'm there to say, what information I am about to share. If that's quality, then that the perspective of the next person sitting next to me, looking at me, judging me, will change instantaneously. Lucas, like, to think about it, like, if whoever comes sits next to you and is very intellectual, you're gonna think, man, he's got in his head. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing, and that matters more than he's wearing a $5 watch. So the comparisons, the how people view us in professional life, for me, is very important because of the work that I do, which is not entirely true for somebody else who might be working, let's say in a fast food chain restaurant, or as a mechanic or something like that, just a few ideas that came to my head. But so it depends on what profession you're doing, what is your job, what is your occupation, and this whole comparison and judging and all that changes as well. So how about for yourself, Lucas?
Patty, you mentioned the mechanic and fast food workers. Now,
Yeah.
I just want to say something, talking about being afraid of the comments, dislikes, and views. A lot of time jobs like that, your title as a mechanic, they come with a negative connotation. And let me just be the first to tell you, I know a lot of mechanics, and there's a lot of them doing very, very well for themselves. I know people that work in fast food, and they love it. They work in fast food, but they own a restaurant. So I just want to make sure that we clarify, just because you work in those kind of jobs and positions, and people have those negative kind of thoughts about that job, your purpose is defined. You are one hell of a person. You rock. You're an all-star, and no one should ever put you down. I think that's just important to add. Patty, I want to go back to another thing that you said about the way you dress and the way you act professionally. That is huge. That is huge, 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 huge. Going into the job and atmosphere that I work in and doing what I do, I will say that the way you dress says a lot about you. Most of the people I work with, they go into the office with suits and ties, even though it's an atmosphere where you can wear whatever is, dress for your day kind of atmosphere. So the most important part of your day-to-day process is, where are you going? Are you going to a client site? Are you going to your office, and so forth? And how do you dress to give off the best impression? How do you dress to have someone not dislike the way you're acting or looking? That could say a lot about you whenever you're in the workplace. So when I go to a client site, I always, without a question, always wear a sports jacket. I wear a button down, and I wear a pair of dress pants with a nice pair of shoes. So I'm probably wearing $500 worth of clothing, and my watch is probably another an Apple Watch, so another $300 or $400. So I'm wearing $1,000 worth of stuff, and then you have your work bag. So I'm not going to say what kind of work bag I have, and I'm not someone that's very materialistic. Sometimes when you get a nice gift, you just have to use it. So all together in a good day, I have maybe $1,500 to $2,000 worth of materialistic stuff on me. That's clothing, that's the technology, and so forth. So just because I'm wearing $2,000 worth of clothing and apparel, that doesn't mean that I'm any better than you. Hell, most of the stuff I wear, I kind of laugh. I try to find as cheap as possible. I go to Macy's or JCPenney's and find the cheapest button down I can find. And okay, all right, this one's good for a little bit. And then we can throw it in the dry cleaner and see how many washes it can go through, or how many dry cycles it can go through before I'm actually, let's get another one, another $10, $15, cool. When I first started my job, Patty, I actually went onto jcpenney's.com and I purchased like 25 Michael Strahan shirts. I had no question and no thought about style or even the character or anything. I just said, all right, those shirts are nice. I like the way they feel. They're comfortable. I can wear the shit out of them. So going back to your point, Patty, and I know I really kind of got off the beaten path, is people are going to judge you on every single kind of item that you have on your body, as well as every action that you take throughout the day. From whether you go and actually talk to your client or you sit behind your computer all day, that is something you're going to get judged on. People are going to make comments. They're going to have their own view. And like we talk in every single episode is about perspective. But also when you have that perspective, you also have to understand that things are not always as beautiful as you always think. People have their own battles that they're going through every single day. People have their own issues that are taking up more than 10 seconds that they're allowing to take over their entire day. You know, you have so many seconds in a day, and if you take those 10 seconds to really allow them to affect the rest of those seconds that are remaining in your day, that is, not how many times it's affected me. But Patty, that is kind of the thing that's brought me to where I am today. It's allowed me to look at life in a different perspective. And I know from your perspective, and I know this is just the person you are, Patty doesn't care about any of that. Yes, when we go to the bar, who doesn't like to look good? We both do, you know. We're single men, you know, so that's just how it has to be. So when Patty and I go to the bar, we like to look good, and I think everyone likes to get spruced up occasionally. But outside of that, Patty and I would be cool in just a swimsuit or whatever swimsuits you have in mind. Maybe a Speedo. Patty, you feeling a Speedo?
Feeling a Speedo, yeah. Maybe when I go scuba diving, sure.
Yep. So we'd be just happy in a nice $25 pair of swim trunks. That's the kind of people 100%. We are. And
same
professionally,
with technology. I feel like even though I am a computer scientist, I do not own the newest laptop or the most powerful computer out there, or the latest tech worth thousands and thousands of dollars or euros. I don't need it. It doesn't make me feel any better to own that. What makes me feel better is what I know, what I get to share with people. But for me, at least, it's being able to experience new cultures. And going back to traveling, obviously, I'm all about travel, okay, guys? So there you go. It's talking about it once again. But that makes me happy. And I rather, if I'm supposed to spend my money on anything, it's going to be travel. And it doesn't matter if it's going travel to visit you, Lucas, in the United States, which costs me a little bit more money than going to, the next city down the road in Ireland.
Just a wee bit.
A wee bit. At the end of the day, those materialistic stuff don't matter to me. And people could judge you. They can judge me as much as they want. If I'm happy with what I have, I am 100% satisfied. And I don't give a single damn what anybody else thinks.
So my takeaway there, and this is probably for you as a listener as well, is be content with who you are as a person. And again, going back to the questions you have to ask yourself is, what do you represent? That's all in sequential order of how can you build a better you? How can you become better? So, Patty, that's right. You may like materialistic stuff, but you don't necessarily need them. No, people are always going to judge you. Doesn't matter if you're wearing $5,000 Gucci or I don't even know prices. I don't even have any Gucci, but it doesn't matter what you're wearing. People are always going to judge you. Even if you think you're super fancy and you're a fashionista or a fashion icon, people are judging you both positively and negatively. That's how we are as humans. Again, going back to comparison. So we're going to take one last glimpse into kind of an overall life perspective before we go into what we'll be talking about next week. So overall life, it groups your friends, your best friend, your social life, and your faith all into the kind of one, and your professional. But we took a kind of a deeper dive into that. Your overall life has the greatest impact on who you are as a person, because you wake up every morning and the first thing you have to do is figure out what kind of day you're going to have, what kind of person you're going to be, and what kind of accomplishments you have. Patty talked about Atomic Habits, I believe, in 2 episodes ago, episode 4. Really great episode. So feel free to check that out, as well as go and read the Atomic Habits book that Patty was discussing. It's really important to set habits for yourself and those little tiny those milestones for you throughout the day, your micro goals. So when you go through and you wake up every day, you have to figure out if you're going to let your negative thoughts or the comments that were made the day prior determine who you're going to be and what kind of person you're going to be today. I know I wake up sometimes, and even today I woke up and I was just trying to figure out what kind of day I'm going to have. I let those negative thoughts get to me sometimes, but when you take charge of your damn life and you get those out of there and you say, oh yeah, I can do it. I'm going to take in charge of my life. I'm going to be the conqueror of all these battles. I am going to be my own purpose. Or my own person. I have purpose. Damn, you are taking charge of your life. So Patty, when you wake up, say for example, today, what was the first thought that you had besides coffee?
Oh, well, my first thought was coffee, as always. Besides that, what makes me happy? That's always the thought that I have while I drink coffee. What makes you happy, Patryk? What do you need to do today to make yourself happy, to achieve what you want to achieve, to, accomplish your goals and be successful? And so that's my thought. And, following on that was where I'm going to go this weekend, because that's what makes me happy. Going out somewhere. So,
Patty told me that he was going to be traveling. Patty told me that he was going to be traveling this weekend. And I said, hey, what happened to our recordings that we do? Huh? No, I'm joking. I actually said, man, go enjoy it. I think it's really important for you to go and do things in your life that actually make you happy. And if you're waking up every morning and you're questioning what you're doing as to whether you're happy, there's a problem. There really is a problem. So as a listener and as a supporter of Project Dream Mastery, I want you to really think about what makes you happy. It was what happened yesterday really going to impact your day to day? What are you going to do today to make yourself happy? Whether it's going to be that nice cup of joe or coffee, whatever you want to call it, or maybe it's going to be that glass of wine to finish the day, or anything in between. There's quite a bit. So just think about that, because our day-to-day lives, they determine our happiness on a much larger scale. And I question that every single day that I wake up. Am I doing the right thing? Am I following the three components of my life: faith, family, and friends? Is my purpose defined? So your friends also have a huge impact on the kind of person you are. So defying expectations is part of who we are at Project Dream Mastery. And if you can conquer those expectations your friends have, and also the expectations your family has, you're right on track to overcoming your fears of the comments, dislikes, and views. So we're going to take a quick look into that. Is when your friends have something to say about you, do you let it affect you? Do you really care about what they have to say? Are they good friends? If they're in your circle, they must be good friends, right? If you're defining your circle with people that are negatively influence you, or making you think about things that are troublesome or troubling in general, are they really the right people to surround yourself with? I think that's a great point for you to figure out who you want to be. Figure out what kind of people that are going to surround you. If you take the time to invest in your life and invest in your thoughts and invest in you as a person, your future is going to be bright. But if you take a moment to not think and to not really analyze the decisions and the people in your life, you're going to find yourself, just as we said before, the resume and the trash can and the garbage can, rubbish. You're going to find your life going there as well, because people that are in your life, they affect every decision you make. Find a good circle. Find people like Patryk that are going to support you, be there for you, be an awesome team player, be part of the Coachington movement and Project Dream Mastery. Find people that are going to uplift, make you, bring you up, uplift who you are as a person. So, Patty, I know that was a lot, and I think we all have to pose those questions to ourselves, even us.
100%. And talking about and thinking about the circle of your friends, I think it's perhaps the most important thing that you can do for yourself, because the circle of friends that you have has a great impact on your life. So the people that you surround yourself with, their thinking process, what they represent as people, that impacts you directly or indirectly, but it definitely does impact you in one way or another. Thinking from the personal experience, even, for example, I don't think I would have started a podcast without you, Lucas. You're definitely pushing me to more abstract thinking. You're giving me the energy. You're a very positive person, driven, and again, directly in this case, this has an effect on me. You know what I mean?
I completely understand it. There's people that you need to kind of bring into your life too whenever you find yourself lost. It's funny how, and the last point is faith, is how if you have faith, how things will dramatically change in your life. And I'm not saying that, it's any sort of faith, spiritual, religious, any kind of faith, any sort of higher power or anything you believe in. Just have faith. Have faith that it's going to happen. Have faith that things in your life are going to change for the better. Now, they're not just going to happen, of course. They're not just going to happen. We have to make them happen. You have to make them happen. Otherwise, they're not going to become a reality. They're not going to become anything you stand for. And especially if you have people around you that are in your circle that have negative thoughts and they're just negative people and they affect you and your traditions that we talked about last week, your traditions. Your dreams are most likely are not going to become a reality because those people are just going to keep bringing you down with them. So if you need to,
sometimes Lucas, I should jump right in there. You just have to learn how to say no. You have to learn how to spot the person that you do not want to be or the person that you do not want to become. And if that person is part of your group, you have to cut him out. It might not be easy. It never is easy, but do not surround yourself with negative people. Do not surround yourself with people that bring no quality into your life whatsoever, because you're just wasting your time.
If you needed to hear that, I'm sure Patty and I both needed to hear that too, is reevaluating our circle. If you needed to hear that, I'm really, really glad that we were able to kind of instill that upon you. Feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to hit us up on email or write a comment or so forth. We would love to chat with you. I mean, Project Dream Mastery is we as people, we want to have chats. Write a comment down here in the YouTube video and we will follow up with you. That's just who we are and what we stand for. So if we can help you find a better circle or even, coach you through the process, Patty and I would love to do that. So Patty, I think that's probably a good place to wrap up. You have any additional comments? Anything else to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it for today.
It's exciting to hear where this journey of ours is going, because as you all know, if you've been listening and you've been here from the start, each week we've been focusing on different kind of points and different things that are on note cards and our little notepads, different topics that are relative to our life, and things that we've went through, different stories that have allowed us to not necessarily become the experts, but be able to relate and be able to share with you to help you not have to go through the same challenge. Because if you do the same thing over and over and over again, what is that called, Patty?
What?
And you expect a different result. I forgot that is called insanity. So go do something different to defy expectations, dream big, and love deeply. I just want to give you a glimpse into what we'll be talking about next week. Our topic for next week, which is exciting. It's building off of this sequential order. It's called Power of Confidence and its effect on your life. Power of confidence and its effect on your life. It's going to be a really great topic. Just like today, we're going to go into a few different areas in your life that you can hopefully improve and become better in. So with that said, let me give you a quick recap of what we discussed in this episode. We talked about the virtual world and how social media is basically taking all your data, and you have to make sure that you are making the best decision while you are when you're posting and so forth. So make sure that you are doing that to the best of your abilities and not posting anything that you're going to question later on. Is the content good? Make sure you ask that. Content has consequences. Again, social media content has consequences. It's always going to be available forever and ever and ever. Go through and ask yourself, what do you represent? And also, we went through and discussed your worth personally, professionally, and talked about your overall circle. So your homework for this week is to do something that is going to improve your life. Is that evaluating your circle? Is that asking yourself deep thought questions that are making you think deeply? Man, sometimes I wish this podcast was edited because I would love to change some stuff. Go and do something amazing in your life this week. Read a book, read Atomic Habits if you have not. Also check out alwayssomewhere.net and visit Patty's blog because there's some really cool stories over there that might just make you think about your next journey or where you might like to go to make yourself happy. Also, we just launched our Patreon membership community where you can become one of our elite supporters and gain exclusive access to early releases, live streams, and Q&A, all of which is with Patty and I. How amazing is that? Come on. We have a few different tiers available with some pretty sweet perks, so make sure to check them out. Go to projectdreammastery.com/listen and click the red button that says Become a Patron to learn more. If you have not already, please make sure to give the show a review, subscribe, like, and share so that we can reach more amazing listeners just like you. And if you're listening right now, I want you to know that you are amazing. And as Roman Atwood says, you are one of a kind. So all of our shows are available in both audio and video form. Check out our website at projectdreammastery.com/listen to access the full experience. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode to come. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.